We're now joined by Democratic Alliance Coalition representative on international relations, and that's Solomon Mondlane. Welcome back, Solomon. Thank you very much for your time. Interesting if we start with the new issue of the escape of prisoners. Your leader accused the police of actually assisting in the prison break. Yet, as we have now learnt, people were rearrested, and in fact, some of those who attempted to escape were in fact killed and wounded.
Good evening, Vuyo. Good evening to the viewers at home. I just want to say in Mozambique, we are having a Black Christmas. We are mourning people who are being shot each and every day by the security forces and trying to push the blame to the protesters when it is clear that the police security forces are killing the people who are unarmed in all our streets, in their houses. That is very clear. This is not a prison break, Vuyo. As President Venancio Mondlane have said, these are just prisoners who were released by the correctional services officers. They were released because we believe there is an agenda to call a state of emergency so that they are able to terrorize innocent people. So they are able to go around our houses and arrest anybody who's speaking on behalf of the people, on behalf of the protests, on behalf of Mozambique as a country, forgetting that this country belongs to all of us. So they will be able to implement undemocratic policies and force and torture people on the streets and everywhere they go. So this is the sad situation. According to the Center for Democracy and Development, they've released a statement that more than 3,000 prisoners were released in 4 prisons in our country. Now we're talking about Beo, which is a maximum security prison. That's a well-secured prison. When I was arrested in 2005, there is no way you can just walk out to break that prison and go out. They must take you out of that prison. So it is not true that that is just a break, a prison break. These people were just released so that the government can cause chaos, so that they can call a state of emergency.
But how do you avoid then, assuming, and I'm taking you on your word here, that is indeed the case. How do you then, what are you doing to avoid playing into the hands of police who you say are trigger happy?
Before maybe I respond to that, Vuyo, you can take the statements between the Minister of Justice and the Minister of Police, Raphael, who you have just interviewed right now. The Minister of Police said this is in connection, they're linking this prison release to the protests that are going on. But the Minister of Justice said this has nothing to do with the protesters. There were issues within the prisons, especially the maximum prison itself. There were issues among the inmates. And the inmates, on some of the video clips, they were complaining about the meal that they received. There is a word that each prisoner should get $40 US meal. I don't know for how long, but they're not given such. So this is a government problem, a government issue. They cannot link it to the protests that are going on now. We need to be truthful to one another so that we are able, between the opposition and the government, to sit on the table and resolve this. Now, to answer your question, the President Venancio Mondlane, yesterday spoke to the nation, spoke to the people who listened to him, And he advised them that, guys, I cannot take power. I cannot be sworn in when you are destroying. But we believe that the people who are destroying are not the protesters, because you can see sometimes the security forces themselves breaking into warehouses, taking sofas, taking furniture, taking food, running away with all those things. So who are really the violent people in this protest? These are not the protesters, as he was talking to the people last night. He believes in them, they listen to him. Today, what we have seen is the response of the people. They've been on the streets, cleaning the streets, packing everything, because the President Venancio Mondlane, has ordered them not to be part of the violence that is happening during the protest. And I just want to say this statement. It is said that when the rich rob the poor people, they call it business. But when people fight back, it is called violence. It is violence when people, they stand for their rights. We're taken back to the olden days of the animal farm, where all people are equal, but some are more equal than others. If the ruling party recognizes that this country belongs to all of us, they will initiate negotiations and bring all the stakeholders on the table and discuss the politics of Mozambique. I don't think that can be difficult, because they did it with Renamo after 16 years. They could have done that early. So they know the delaying tactics, they destroy the country. I'm not expecting from them, who have been in such a situation before, to delay the process of sitting down on the table and talk with the people. This war is no longer between Venancio. I said yesterday, when Vuyo, you said to me, we're trying to use a back door. It's not a back door. This war is not about Venancio and the ruling party. This is now between Frelimo and the people, the same people who are supposed to vote for them, the same people whom they are supposed to govern upon. So this is about the people, it's the people's voice. So it's important that the ruling party, they take the initiative and sit down on the table. And one last thing I want to say, Vuyo, please put down the guns. Put down the guns. And they know how much an AK-47 has destroyed this country for many, many, many years. Please, our government, we're swimming in blood of our brothers and sisters. Put down the guns. We're begging you, so that we sit down and talk. Drop all the charges against Venancio Mondlane. Drop all these charges against the protesters. Release the protesters from prison. And let's sit down and have an inclusive dialogue. This is our country, all of us.
It's one thing, of course, to call for a dialogue, but it's quite another to actually work towards it. What are you doing on your part, using whatever leverage or levers you may have at your own disposal to actually push for negotiations? Are you speaking to any parties? I don't mean political parties. In other words, whether it's organization, whether it's SADC, whether it's whoever. Are you speaking to anyone to say, do your bit to get us all around a negotiation table?
We have written to SADC. We know SADC has been so quiet. We've written to the South African government. We have written, why South African government? South Africans are concerned that each time there is violence outside their country, countries, they run to them when there are problems in the neighboring countries. It's because South Africa is a role model in our democratic society in Africa. We are looking upon them. And of course, their economy will be more also affected by what's going on in Mozambique. So we've written, and I want to say thank you to the Build One SA leader, Musi Maimane, who has been vocal, urging South Africa to speak to Frelimo and to the opposition party to intervene in the crisis of Mozambique. So we're doing everything within our reach, Vuyo, to convince Frelimo that this is time to work hand in hand. And we are also contacting them, talking to them and saying, it's time. Our President Venancio has been saying many times that dialogue is the only option now that we can engage in.
Have you received any responses from the South African government and your SADC?
We are happy with the South African government, who are willing to be the mediators in these conflicts. In the past, we were so concerned because they were just celebrating the victory of their Liberation Friends party, being Frelimo. But now they've realized, they've assessed the situation, and now the statements that they are making, we are so hopeful that the Frelimo will listen to them, because we are really waiting for the negotiation so that the leadership in the opposition party side, they can meet the ruling party and sit down and work together as a team to ensure that there is an everlasting peace in our country, Vuyo. We had war since 1964 against the Portuguese until 1974. And we went to another one from 1977 to 1992. And now we have terrorism up north in Cabo Delgado. And really, Vuyo, this can be prevented if the leadership of this country can think about their people, show love to them.
I still haven't heard you say whether, in fact, you've had responses. You are mentioning statements that the South African government has made, but have they responded directly to
Not directly, Vuyo. We read from the newspapers that they are responding to their friends. Of course, the ANC is the ruling party. They need to talk with their friends this side who are ruling party. But we believe in what we are reading, that surely we're heading the right way. We haven't had any response yet, because even meetings that were held between Minister Lamula and our minister from the Department of Interior this side, the opposition was not invited. So these were the things that were done between themselves in closed doors, whereby we were even shocked when we heard that there may be security forces from South Africa that will be accompanying trucks that will be coming here so that they can protect their truck. But I'm happy there to hear that they decided to stop every trucks that are coming in here so that they can prevent this violence that can be caused at the end of the day. Bringing a security force in a country, it's a very dangerous thing. Even now, we're concerned about what's happening with the Rwandan force up north there. We believe this will cause conflicts amongst ourselves and the government of Rwanda. But let me not just go there now. Let us address this issue, which is about the protesting citizens of Mozambique at the current moment.
And from the South African Development Community, Southern, SADC?
Nothing, because remember there was a quick meeting that was held a month ago. They didn't even talk about the issue of Mozambique. And there was never a response from them to us. So we're just wondering whether should we go, in the words of Julius Malema, and say these are just a group of friends who just go there and share a tea and coffee together.
So we're going to leave it for today. Thank you very much for your time. Solomon Mondlane, who speaks on behalf of that coalition of smaller parties in Mozambique.